What if, in the span of a single volatile week, the light heavyweight champion of two weight classes hinted at quitting, a heavyweight icon promised to punish his greatest rival harder than ever, and the welterweight king's own childhood idol quietly tipped the scales against him? The reverberations started with a midnight jolt from Alex Pereira's social feed, a farewell so abrupt it read less like a calculated PR tease and more like a raw cry torn straight from the locker room. Fans froze, scrolled back, and asked if they'd misread Portuguese slang. But there it was, a cryptic sign-off laced with resignation emojis and an uncharacteristic hint of vulnerability from a man famous for expressionless death stares. Within hours, the tweet was gone, replaced by a statement blaming a polite hacker, the kind of intruder who apparently respects grammar, capitalizes titles, and knows enough fight jargon to imitate a UFC champion's cadence. Daniel Cormier wasn't buying a syllable. He fired up his studio lights, stared down the camera, and branded Pereira a liar, reminding viewers that his 2 decades in wrestling rooms taught him the smell of panic sweat. DC then mapped out a scenario almost as brutal as one of his double-leg slams. UFC matchmaker Hunter Campbell visits Dagestan under the guise of checking on Islam Makhachev, but slips in a hush-hush meeting with Magomed Ankalaev, floats a short-notice title bout for International Fight Week, and uses Pereira's belt as the bargaining chip. In that story, Pereira's rage tweet isn't a hack at all, but a real-time eruption after hearing he might lose the glittering July slot. And that's why the wording felt so personal, why the deletion came only after panicked midnight calls from managers, and why the replacement statement sounded like it had been combed by legal.
Eu estudei algumas lutas dele, eu vi que ele é cara que cansa com mais facilidade. Todo mundo cansa, mas ele é cara que cansa mais fácil. Então eu vi esse ponto fraco que eu tentei explorar e eu consegui, né? Comecei na manha ali, tentando fazer ele errar, mas ele estava muito esperto com isso também. Eu percebi que ele não estava jogando.
Hardcore sleuths grabbed flight manifests, screen-capped Hunter's social check-ins, translated Dagestani news snippets, and even timed daylight in Makhachkala to prove DC's timeline plausible. Just as the rumor mill peaked, John Jones poured rocket fuel onto Cormier's bruised ego. Relaxed in Jeffrey Wu's podcast studio, Jones smiled the way a cobra might before fanning its hood and laid out why a heavyweight version of Daniel Cormier would fare even worse than the light heavyweight who already ate spinning elbows in 2015 and a high-kick hammer in 2017. He explained that the extra mass has gifted him predator leverage, that his twice-weekly Muay Thai sessions now produce kicks able to dent steel heavy bags, and that while DC's punching power undeniably climbed at heavyweight, the older man's reflexes dulled just enough for Jones's reach to become an even crueler weapon. Those words landed like a fresh head kick highlight inside Cormier's psyche. The champion-turned-commentator could only retort on air that heavyweight DC would grab John's waist and fold him like laundry, yet even he sounded like he was reminding himself more than the audience. Social forums detonated. GIFs of Cormier sobbing after UFC 214 collided with ones of Jones's oscillating biceps curls at 250 pounds, and every barbershop debate in Albuquerque or Lafayette reignited over whether raw speed or clinch control rules the upper weight class.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him. You know, it's just like his fans have been so annoying. And obviously you don't get this far in a career being affected by fans or whatnot. But he's...
Across the continent, Montreal prepared its own powder keg, UFC 315, headlined by Belal Muhammad and Della Maddalena, a matchup the algorithms love because each man neutralizes the other's comfort zone. Belal's arsenal blends level change takedowns, cardio that tick-tocks like a Swiss watch, and a jab that no longer just touches but slices. JDM counters with bolo loop boxing, crippling body shots, and the instinct to bite down when fights turn messy. Odds makers had the line swinging like a pendulum. 1 hour Belal minus 120, the next JDM minus 105, until Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo stepped behind their mic stands. Usman, once the terror of the division and the blueprint Belal openly studied, stunned everyone by picking Belal to retain, yet he did it while issuing a not-so-subtle warning. If the champ ignores his wrestling to prove a point on the feet, he could gift the Australian a viral knockout and send the division into chaos. Usman, who knows the smell of sudden dethronement all too well, recounted the night Leon Edwards threaded that head kick and how a single lapse can undo years of dominance. Cejudo added Olympic-grade analysis, noting that Belal's double-leg success rate jumps 22% when he fakes the right hand first, a stat easily forgotten in the roar of a hostile Bell Center crowd. Now every preview show asked not just who wins, but whether Muhammad's stubborn streak will sabotage the safer path, and the champ found himself defending strategy before even defending the belt.
Yeah, I think I needed to put a stamp on it. I was like, I have to get this finish. I have to go out there and put it on him. Even like Habib was like, you have to put a finish on him. Like, these people, when you have somebody like him tell you that the whole camp, like, we got to finish him, we got to finish him, we got to finish him. It just made my mentality, we have to finish him.
At the same time, Bo Nickal nursed ribs and pride after Rainier de Ridder folded him with a left hook to the liver that echoed through Wells Fargo Arena like a cannon shot. Nickal's resume reads like wrestling royalty: 3 NCAA golds, a Hodge Trophy, and grapple-heavy finishes in his first UFC run. But MMA's cruel lesson is that a strike can level any pedigree. As clips of the knockdown looped, trolls layered dubstep music over slow-motion footage and stamped "Hype Train Derailed" across the screen. Nickal punched back from his YouTube bunker, voice trembling with fury, telling critics to suck my before half-censoring and vowing to remember every insult like an elephant store watering hole route. He detailed plans to drill southpaw body protection, to sharpen defensive hand fighting with ex-boxing champ Andre Ward, and to spend 2 months in Phuket sharpening Muay Thai so that the next time a punch whistles toward his ribs, the counter elbow will arrive first. The rant went viral, ensuring that the man currently licking wounds will have eyes on him the moment the comeback poster drops. Because anger plus blueprint equals intrigue easier than any PR team could buy.
It's been landing a lot over the last couple of years, actually, that knee, so I've been really working on it. In the other fight, he had a lot of more weight over his front leg, so it was very low with his head, so the plan was to get him to the body a couple times and upstairs with the knee, but I think he saw something.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria attempted a softer makeover and discovered toughness hides in brand identity too. Fresh off a featherweight title demolition, he announced a switch from El Matador to La Leyenda, hoping to symbolize his Georgian-Spanish dual heritage and hint at future greatness. Yet bullfighting tradition isn't just a marketing motif in Spain. It's a national symbol rooted in risk and artistry, and fans rebelled within minutes. Memes surfaced of Topuria charging imaginary bulls dressed in GOAT logos, while sports radio hosts joked that legends must be anointed, not self-proclaimed. Topuria sat on primetime talk show couches, laughter mixing with modesty, and conceded defeat. The cape stays, the sword stays, and El Matador lives on. Branding chiefs quietly updated slide decks. Authenticity still outweighs aspiration when your audience wields unsubscribe buttons like darts.
It's something very emotional for me. We were like doing everything to be able to live these days, right? So to see him with the UFC shorts, doing.
From young icon to living legend, Jose Aldo refuses to let Father Time escort him out politely. Preparing to fight local hero Ayman Zahabi, Aldo sparred 5-round wars in Rio's Nova Union gym and boasted that he still cracks the ribs of partners half his age. He reminded media of the night he dismantled Merab Dvalishvili's friend Rob Font with targeted body barrages, insisted the judges robbed him against Merab himself in 2022, and swore he would not fight like a damn sissy in Montreal. Zahabi, 7 years younger and fueled by the energy of a hometown crowd, called Aldo the final boss. But Aldo's eyes told a different story. This is no farewell tour. It's a siege aimed at forcing Merab into a rematch so the Brazilian can stamp his legend in a second weight class before walking away. Over it all looms Dana White's cosmic math. Cornered by analysts claiming the sport's attention curve flatlined, he scoffed, pointed upward, and said the ceiling is 8 billion souls, the entire population of Earth once streaming giants bridge continents. The Disney ESPN deal that prints so much revenue ends soon, and for months Wall Street whispers have linked the UFC to everything from a Netflix global Fight Pass overlay to Amazon's rumored push for exclusive Saturday primetime fights. Dana laid out how 4K cameras, localized commentary feeds, and micropayment PPVs could beam a prelim slugfest into Nairobi, Zagreb, and Sao Paulo simultaneously, creating superstars not in years, but in hours. He reminded doubters that pundits predicted a bubble burst in 2016 when WME-IMG bought the company for a record sum, yet revenue and social imprint have climbed every fiscal quarter since. For fighters, this future is both carrot and crowbar. More viewers inflate sponsorship bids, but bigger spotlights mean the company needs dependable main events, which circles us back to Hunter's Dagestan detour and Pereira's supposed hack. Because losing an International Fight Week headline slot under the new media megaphone could cost the champ champ 7-figure back-end pay. Link every thread and the tapestry stretches tighter by the hour. Pereira must decide if he'll affirm the hack narrative or confront Cormier's accusation head-on. Jones basks in heavyweight revenge fantasies, while Cormier calculates if commentary silence or an early morning wrestling session is the right counterpunch. Muhammad rehearses double leg chains in case bravado tempts him. JDM polishes shovel hooks designed to end that debate. Nickal converts mockery into the fuel that once drove him through 7-hour Penn State practices. Topuria affirms his matador identity by planning a bullring walkout in Madrid later this year. Aldo drinks acai bowls, tapes up brittle ankles, and visualizes Merab tumbling under leg kick barrages. And Dana White monitors every storyline like chess pieces, knowing one viral knockout can spike global app downloads overnight. The only certainty is collision. Tweets will morph into elbows, podcast boasts into cracked jaws, algorithm rumors into roaring pay-per-view buys. When the cage door clanks shut in Montreal, the hacker tale, the heavyweight what-ifs, the identity crises, and the business projections all dissolve into 3 words from the referee: fight, fight, fight. And whichever narrative survives, the blood and sweat will rewrite the rankings, the paydays, and the very mythology fueling next week's rumor mill.